All right. Good evening, everybody. So we are running a squad training today for 3-1. The guys asked me to basically come and run a CQC training for them, to which I obviously obliged. We got a few different drills that we're going to be taking the guys through today. Some very, very basic CQC, and then heading over to kind of a stepped up CQC in an urban environment, and then stepping it up from there in a denser urban environment. Just kind of going, increasing the difficulty, if you will, each step of the way. So hopefully it should be a decent time for the guys. We'll see how it all goes. And Zemo, thank you for the host right off the start of the stream there. Greatly appreciated.
Yo, on the net, this is 3-1, radio check on frequency 131, over.
31, this is Mikey, we're at Lima Charlie on 131, over.
Copy out.
I'll go ahead and turn grass off.
Who's QSC for shot?
You are.
Shit. Okay.
Bravos.
I was afraid he'd say that.
We're just waiting for
Move
Tabor.
over. Move over.
Not bad.
Yeah, I was waiting for Tabor.
Alright, so we only got one guy missing right now.
As a firm
Well, on his way, whatever.
Yeah.
Specialist Meyer, do you normally run with iron sights?
That's what I was just about to ask him.
No, I did not know what happened.
He's a rebel. He's a crack shot.
Crackhead.
He's a Kentucky boy.
In that case, meth head. Alright, once Tabor gets geared up and shit, we'll get this started.
Yes.
Bravo, what did the buddy teams in 2IC for Bravo?
Yeah, it's gonna be me and Arch is team 1, and Vasquez and Tabor is team 2. Tabor will be 2SC, as long as CLS as well.
Copy.
Little excited there, Hernandez?
I suffer from a very rare condition. Sorry.
An extra chromosome? Hey, Nugget, what's going on, bud? Jesus Christ, princess, anytime now.
This isn't that. Tabor comm check 1-2.
Lima Charlie point 2.
Roger out.
Hey, son.
How's it going, Sergeant?
Alright. No complaints.
Alright, thanks for joining us. Alright, First Sergeant, 3-1's all count for and present.
Alright.
So you're gonna be rolling with Vasquez, and you're also CLS and 2IC.
Roger that. Before we step out, after the brief, I'll fucking grab CLs.
Roger.
Vasquez, do you ever get mistaken for a man?
Wait, what?
Correct answer would have been no, have you?
No, have you?
Jesus
that's
Christ.
fine.
Fucking kids these days. You never seen Aliens?
One of them-
No. That's not an immigration joke.
Is
either.
he in your squad? Or is he a fill-in?
He's part of the squad.
He's
Part
part
of
of
the
the
squad.
squad.
He's friends with Hernandez, so that explains everything.
Plus,
We
it's
don't have
2019, so
have
like,
TV where we come from, bro.
I don't think it's bad. It's
NJPU on
2019,
principle.
So he might be one of those transgender jobs.
All right, so what we're going to do tonight, a little bit of CQC. We're going to go over a very basic drill along the lines of what I used to run with my guys, and then we'll kind of step up the difficulty from there. So we'll go from that kind of basic kill house drill onto CQC in an urban environment, and then we'll go to a kind of more dense urban environment. That being said, I'm not going to throw anything at you guys that's too much for a single squad to take. That's one thing that guys make a mistake on a lot when they're training in CQC. They'll go into a town that's 4, 5, 6 square city blocks and expect one squad to clear that. It's not really feasible. That's not how we actually fight. You would take, basically one street per se per squad, and you'd have guys on either side clearing and then guys on your flanks as well. So that's kind of how we'll do it, and it'll be explained in a little bit more detail when we get to it. But what we're going to do first is we're going to kind of head off over that direction, and we have a little bit of a kind of kill house setup with shoot and no shoot targets inside of there, i.e. we've got OPFOR as well as a couple of civilians inside the house, if you will, just to kind of check your guys' PID and make sure you're not too jumpy on the trigger finger. That being said, I'm not looking for you guys to necessarily do this perfectly or not get shot at all or anything like that. This is just to get a understanding of where you guys are at in terms of your angles, right? That's a huge thing when it comes to CQC, is being able to make the angles work in your favor. If you're moving around a corner, do you pie it first, or do you just rush around the corner? If you're approaching the end of a wall, do you pie it, or do you just bounce around it? One thing that guys don't really think about a lot is every break basically in cover is what we call a threshold, right? It's not just doors. Doors aren't the only thresholds. Corners, the end of walls, the corners of buildings, shit like that. Those are all thresholds. You treat all thresholds the same way, right? You cut the angle or slice the pie, whatever you want to call it. You treat all of those the same. So when you're moving in an urban environment, in like a town per se, and say you've got to make a right turn down a street or an alley or whatever, you shouldn't just bust right around the corner of the building. You need to pie that corner just like you would any threshold. And you don't want to telegraph your movement, right? You don't want a barrel lead. You don't want your barrel moving around the corner before you're able to engage. So that's one of the reasons that we pie. We don't just run around the corner. Make sense to everybody?
Back in.
Well,
All right. So each one of these drills that we do, when we get done with the drill, you'll have a chance to kind of rearm and resupply. We're going to run each one of these drills a couple of different times. So it's not going to just be like, all right, you guys did it and you fucking suck dick at the entire thing. You never get a chance to do it again. Too bad, tough shit. No, we're going to run each one of these drills multiple times. So you're going to get more familiar with the layout and so on. That's going to make it a little bit easier on you. But that's not really what this is about. One of the things that I relayed to the last UCS class that I did, there's a difference between training and mission preparation, and that's something that guys don't necessarily understand all that much. When you're training on a specific set of skills. So when you go to something like the Urban Warfare Center and train in those buildings, yes, you're pretty much never going to see one of those buildings on an ArmA map. That's not the point of it. If you want to train in specific buildings that you're going to be going into, that's not training, that's mission preparation, because you know ahead of time the layout of the building that you're going to be going into. So if you're doing a very specific mission, that's why you'll see elements recreate layouts of buildings and train on that specific layout because they're preparing for that specific mission. That's not what overall training is for. The overall training is so that you can look at any building or go into any building or compound and be able to make a snap decision on which angle you want to cover, where you want to move to from a specific position, so on and so forth. That's where training comes into play. You don't have to know the layout of every single building. You can walk into a building based upon the training that you have, that you can fall back on. You can make a decision if you want to go left or right, or go up the stairs or stay downstairs, so on. All right, any questions on that?
Negative for start.
Nothing.
All right. Follow me. All right. Now we're going to let the fun begin.
He said there'd be resupply, so I'll just grab the CLS and I can serve.
Just grab it, Mike.
Oh,
Touch
sure.
my shit.
All right, go ahead and stand fast right here. Do not cross that goddamn threshold. What we're going to do here, we're going to have one team at a time go in. One team's going to go in, clear this area. You'll come out. I'll reset it. Second team's going to go in, clear it, come out. We'll reset it, and then we'll send the entire squad in. What I'm doing here basically is give you guys the first chance to go in just as a team, and then see how the dynamic changes when you send an entire squad in, and see how you guys handle that situation, who you have cover, such and such, and who moves and all that. So, like I said, first team's going to go in, clear it, then come back out right here. We'll reset, and then I'll let the other team know when they're ready to go in. All right, everybody clear? All right, go ahead and lock and load, get set up here against the wall whenever you're ready, and then I'll tell you guys when you're good to go.
Airport check.
Copy.
Alpha,
Alpha, you guys go first.
Alpha medic, rolling with you.
What do you want on point?
Alright, Bravo, hold it back. Alpha's gonna go first.
Lead, and then Murph, why don't you go second? And Mike, you're at the end.
Vasquez.
Margiata, why don't you
Get
go
my
third?
spot.
I'm set.
2 set. 3 set.
4 set.
5 set.
All right, hold on, before you guys even go. What's the first thing you do when you're going to be reaching a threshold?
Flying the door at top.
You're going to pie it. Can't call your set if you haven't even pied it yet. When you call your set, that means you're set and ready to move. You can't call set and then start moving and pieing it. Doesn't work that way. So let's get up there on the threshold. You're not going to breach it from fucking 20 meters back. There we go. Why do we have a fifth guy up there?
Sergeant and I had the medic run with them, and then I was going to run with the Bravo team, unless you want us to pull back.
We don't run in odd numbers.
Then I'll go ahead and run with the medic then.
You guys will get your opportunity.
Okay, copy that.
Alright, Murph, I want you in the
Mike,
back
go
of this stack then.
Disregard.
It's your CLS.
All right.
Copy.
When you guys are ready, go ahead.
I'm trying to fight. Oh, I gotta say.
Why the fuck are you standing inside of the threshold?
I'm moving, go right. Got 2 seconds.
No, come back. God damn it. Alright, going in, going left.
Going all right.
Yeah, they're here.
Flash out. Alpha, how you guys holding up in there? Fucking pull him out.
Hey, First Sergeant,
Yeah.
question for you. Would it be acceptable if we know we're going to be in a mount-intensive environment to swap out lethals, hand-throwable munitions for like flashbangs?
As long as you're
Bring that
within
number up.
SOP.
All right, copy.
Pull the next guy out so I can fucking back out. Can you know?
Mike, you want to go help him?
First sergeant, you want me to get him or?
All right, first team, go ahead and get yourselves back out here against the wall. Yourselves back out here against the wall. All right. Who can tell me what got fucked up there?
I did.
I didn't say who, I said what. What'd you screw up?
I stopped in the doorway and I didn't, and I panicked and ran forward and got shot in the face.
What'd number 2 do?
I don't know, I was down.
I followed him.
And what happened?
I also got shot in the face.
So what can we do to make that not happen again?
Be patient.
Be patient, not a bad idea.
When you're dealing with a like this is obviously wider than a doorway. Am I pieing from all the way from the right all the way to the left, or is it? Do I not want to be like? I feel like I'm being exposed for a long time if I do that. Unless I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about this, but
Well, if you feel like you're exposed for too long, then don't do it. All right, one of the things I want to impart to all of you guys, especially when it comes to CQC, if it feels uncomfortable, you shouldn't be fucking doing it. Because that's when it gets dangerous. If you're doing something that you're not comfortable with, then it's inherently more dangerous. Because you're not going to have that immediate training, per se, to fall back on. Because you're doing something that obviously you're not trained to do because you're uncomfortable with it. If you trained to do it, you would be comfortable with it, right? So don't do anything you don't feel comfortable with. In terms of pieing and opening that large, yeah, you're not going to do a full pie because you're spending too much time in the funnel. So you're going to stop at the threshold, which means you're not going to cross the corner of this fucking box, this Connex box here, because there's just too big of a gap. Your normal entry point, say a door, for example, traditional fucking entry door is 36 inches. That's 3 feet. That's fairly easy to cross all the way. This, not so much. This is more accustomed to like a gate or something like that, entering into a compound, or even a large door on, say, like a warehouse or some shit like that. So that's number one thing you're going to recognize when approaching a building, compound, whatever, is your primary entry point. Do you want to do a full pie, or do you want to stop at the threshold? Well, it's going to be based upon the size of it. It's going to be based upon whether or not you can identify a threat in the initial pie, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, again, if you don't feel comfortable with it, don't do it. All right, does that make sense to everybody?
Confirm, Tom.
All right. And Margiota, there a reason you're running iron sights?
What the fuck is that?
You normally stop in the middle of an operation to take your optic off when you enter CQC?
I've done it in the past, but I'll put my sights back on.
I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying if that's something you normally do, then do it. If normally you don't take the time and you just go with the optic that you have, then that's the way you train it, is the way you do it most often. But if you normally stop and take your optic off, then by all means, have at it.
Hey, Perrin, do.
All right. You guys ready to try this again?
Hey, Perrin.
Yes.
All right. Loster, you going to not fuck it up this time?
It's me you're talking to.
Good answer. All right. Real quickly, though, let's break this down real quick, actually, before we get this started. Let's break this process down, okay? I stopped those guys, and firstly, I'm going to fucking apologize to you guys now. If this training runs for a long time and I fucking talk a lot, sorry, but you guys know this is a passion project of mine, and you asked me to be here, so your fucking problem. But let's break this initial procedure down, right? I stopped the guys because they called that they were set and they hadn't pied it yet, right? So now we know first thing you do is pie the threshold, no matter what it is. Doesn't matter if you're breaching a compound or if you're rounding a corner, you pie it first. You get that information so you can make an educated decision on what you're going to do, right? So he pies it, relays information. Then he drops back into the stack. You call your sets, right? Everybody's familiar with that part. Last man calls last man set. What happens after the last guy calls last man set? Somebody speak up.
Moving in, going left, going right.
You decide on what kind of breach you're going to do.
Lead man, top.
All right. So, number 2, he's a stack leader, right? So he's going to decide what kind of breach you're going to do. You're going to use throwables or not. If you're not, then he's going to call breach. Once he calls breach, then what's going to happen?
Point man calls out his direction.
Well, he's going to call direction. Anything else?
Oh, sorry.
Is he just going to say going left?
Breaching going left.
All right, breaching going left. Is there anything else in that process?
The man behind him will call the opposite direction, and
Yeah.
so on and so on.
I think maybe we should put a pause in there in between each one of those to give the guys behind them fucking chance to get moving. Yeah. So you say breaching, say breaching, pause, direction you're going, pause, and then go. Now it's purely a gameplay thing. In reality, you never. In fact, in reality, majority of the time you don't even say breaching because you don't want the guy on the other side of the fucking door or wall to hear you. But while breaching, pause, what direction you're going, pause. Now for 2 and 3 in the stack, right? They're covering their sectors like normal. Up until what point? When do they drop their security and turn front?
When you get a call set.
When number 2 says breach. Right, that's your verbal cue to drop your security and turn front. So everybody calls their sets. Number 2 says breach. 3 and 4 is going to turn front. Number 1's going to say breaching, pause, direction, pause, and then go. And everybody should be in fairly close proximity. Obviously, you're never going to be as close to each other as what you would in reality, so on and so forth. But that helps a little bit. All right, so everybody clear on that entire process.
There from top.
Start an arch.
Thank you, Top. Why is it the second man who calls the breach?
Why is the second man that calls the breach? Because the second man is the one that's going to determine what type of breach you're doing. Why is the second man determining the breach? Because if you are using throwables, he's the fucker that's got to throw it. That's why number 2 is going to be your stack leader, because he's going to determine the breach.
As the number 1 man, would it be permissible to kind of like instruct the second man which one he wants, since he has the most information because he's actually seen what's in the room?
Yeah, absolutely. It is more than okay for that point man to request, hey, we need a frag in there, or we need a flash in there, whatever. And then he's just going to maintain security on your entry point, and number 2 is going to take care of it.
Cover that.
Yeah, always keep that in mind. If you're the point man, you can request fucking anything, and they better listen to you, because you're God at that point. So if you say, give me a frag, or you tell them to go right when normally they would go left, do it. And whatever the point man says, do it. Don't question it. Just do whatever he tells you to do. All right. Go ahead and set up. When you guys are ready, I'll let me know and I'll tell you when to go.
Alpha team is ready.
All right. Real quickly, thank you for the gigantic 100 bomb.
Go ahead and pie.
Sully refused to take your money. I'll take it. But thank you.
Yeah.
Right,
Eyes on a civvy down the hall. There's a corridor on the left and there's a hard right here. I can't see what's on the other side of it. Might want to bounce a flash off of this left wall here.
Roger that. So we'll do a flash. All right, let me know when you're ready.
1 set.
2 set.
3 set.
Last man set.
Alright, flash out.
We call breach.
Breach.
Moving in, going right.
Going in, going left.
Hugging the right wall, hugging the right wall.
Moving up on the left. Opens up to the right.
One on the right, one on the right.
Man down on the right.
Watch your right side.
Toss a flash or something over there.
He got dropped because he didn't want to fucking get behind cover. There you go. Now you're going to get stuck on the body, though.
Turn him back up.
Is my right side clear here? Your right side
Nugget,
clear?
it'll
I can't see the
probably
corner,
end up,
right
I would
side's
love to
clear
get
up
a
to,
FC again,
try that corner.
but it'll probably end up being
Right side
something
of the
around,
door.
something along the
Right
lines
side
of like a CBR 600,
Alright, left is clear.
because they're
I'm
fairly
gonna
cheap.
find
You can pick one up for like 4 or
Alright,
5
move in,
grand, most of the time.
Let's push left.
So it'll be something along those lines.
Alright, somebody's obviously around the corner to my fucking right, lost us down. Your battle buddy's down.
Flash out, flash out.
God damn, did he miss all
One
of those
down.
shots? He
I'm
did.
putting a frag out
Murph's
in this
down as
row.
well.
Back up.
Frag out, frag out.
Gonna fuck that civilian.
Frag out this way. Frag out, frag out.
And you got down by your own frag. Or you not
Fire's
holding
back
fire?
up. Margiota, how are you
Fucking
doing?
flash out.
Alright, last one down over here. I'm gonna start pulling these guys out. You doing okay over there? Margiota, come in. 3-1 be advised. All of Alpha is down except myself.
Alright, go ahead and pull yourselves back outside.
Frag out, frag out.
Go ahead and pull yourself outside.
We can come back. We can go back.
Roger that.
Top said we can go back.
Fuck, I got hit from that.
Margiota, you doing alright?
Yeah.
Alright, let's pull back out.
Yeah, it's my life. No big deal.
No, not necessarily, Dova. This is more kind of the style that I teach CQC, which tends to be a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
07 Dyna Street Bob, nice. I love bobbers. I'm not a big fan of real big, like cruiser style bikes, which traditionally Harleys are, obviously, but I fucking love bobbers.
Thanks, Dutch.
All right. How do you guys think that went?
Oh, that fucking sucked.
Very poorly.
Yeah. That was bad.
Why do you think it went badly?
Cause 3 out of the fucking 4 guys died. We only got to breach 1 room out of the entire complex, so that's pretty bad. We didn't die, but 3 out of 4 guys went down, which.
Yeah, but I'm not asking.
Position.
I'm not asking that. I'm asking why did it go bad? Why did those 3 out of 4 guys get downed?
There was someone to the right that we weren't able to see.
Yeah, somewhat. All right, what we're going to do here real quick is I'm going to basically take a quick second to set this back up, and I'm going to put guys relatively in the exact same positions they all were, and then we're going to set them all to hold fire, and then we're going to go in there and take a look at it and talk about what we could have done in terms of angles we could have covered and so on to basically not get ass raped going in there. All right, so just stand by for a hot second.
First Sergeant.
How are you guys doing on medical?
Fine.
Still good?
Alright.
All right, give me just a second. I'm going to run in there and make sure the hold fire is working properly. Actually, I'm going to set myself to fucking invincible first. If you hear gunshots, don't worry. Okay, we're good. All right, everybody go ahead and follow me in here.
Does that include Bravo?
Yeah, everybody. Everybody.
Alright, everybody inside.
All right, so looking at this initial entry point, okay, we come in. We now knew that this guy was in the near corner right here, right? Because you guys got fucked up by him in the first place. So first guy comes in, hooks around, takes this corner, pushes this wall, and starts pushing down this way, right? Everybody can kind of see the body there of the one guy. Now, what the problem was over on this side. We got that guy in the corner. He downed somebody right here. Why did this person get downed? Why do you guys think?
The wrong way.
They didn't pie.
You were looking the wrong way. What direction were you looking?
I was starting to look down that way.
Right? So you were looking down there. Okay. Why do you guys think that's necessarily the wrong way? And I don't really like saying that because there isn't really such a thing as a wrong way in CQC, but why is that not necessarily the direction you want to be looking? Anybody have any guesses?
You already know it's clear that way.
Well, you got angles better being on this side. You have the cover as you approach, and you have a better angle than the people on this side trying to look to the right. So you kind of crisscross your field of view, per se.
There's a lot more real estate that way.
And for
You're
more exposed on the left-hand side to at a 45-degree angle from right here, as opposed to if you're looking down this hallway, because this container's coming out a little bit more than the rest of the other containers, so you do have more cover. And then ideally you would want the other team on the other side either looking down here and then a second man behind them looking down that hallway if somebody does come down that hallway.
So who said there's more real estate down there, like back behind me?
Me for certain.
Who the fuck is me? Fernandez? All right.
Fernandez, yep.
So the reason that's basically correct, okay, this is a situation in which we use a technique known as the threat clock, right? The threat clock is a way to determine threat levels, basically. So the way we break down something like this, whether it's in a building or a compound or whatever, is we want to basically engage or deal with the immediate threat first, right? Because that's where your threat clock is the lowest. That's where you have the least amount of time to react. So instead of having, 30 seconds to be able to engage that threat, you have 2 seconds. So you're always trying to keep that threat clock in mind. So in this situation, we have this long hallway here, but we know the immediate front is already clear as we looked that direction. We don't know what's on the immediate right. That's our closer threat, right? Because the threshold is right here. So the reason that we're going to basically immediately turn as we come in, we're up against that wall, we're looking down this way as we come in, we know that's good. Once we've cleared that immediate area, now our threat clock shifts to over here because this is the immediate threat sector. So we're going to turn and start pieing this threshold here and deal with that guy at the corner. Guys over on this side are doing the same thing. When they come in, they clear the near corner, check the long wall essentially, and then they're going to pie across this way and deal with this fucker right here. So you basically compartmentalize the area that you're clearing. You want to deal with that immediate threat first and then push your sector out from there. So you deal with whatever's closest and then kind of step out from there. So once you get to this point and you see that guy in the corner, obviously you engage if you can. If he starts engaging first, what's the quickest way to lose a gunfight?
Stand still.
Engage.
Shoot last. Right? Generally, 90% of the time, the guy that shoots first wins. So if you get to this point, you start crossing that threshold and he engages, what are you going to do? Drop back as quickly as you can. Get back behind that threshold. That's where the guy following, you need to be heads up on this shit. Because if you recognize the guy in front of you is pieing a threshold, you need to give him a little bit of room. You can't be right up on his ass, because if you do and he starts getting engaged and he goes to drop back, he's got nowhere to move. You've now blocked him in. He can't fall back. It's not like real life where he can just jump back and knock your ass over. It doesn't work like that in ArmA. So you have to give him a little bit of room to be able to back off when he's pieing those thresholds. He pies it, realizes there's something there, starts being engaged, he can back off, then he can use a throwable from there. In this situation, you see there's a civilian right there, so you're not going to want to use a frag. So you're going to throw a flash out there. From this position, you got a pretty good angle to get it deep into that corner. Throw a flash over there, blind the fucker, then continue pieing the threshold, drop him, and then you're going to stop basically right at this corner. And you might be able to see that guy, might not. So what's going to happen in that situation? You got the guys across there, guys here. You call that each other's sides are clear, and then you hook the corners, right? So the guys over here are going to hook and go right. Guys here are going to hook and go left. Fairly simple in that regard. But what's a problem here is if you guys step down here to this end, Go ahead and step all the way down here. You'll see that this wall is out a little bit from that threshold, and that's done on purpose. That means if you're on this side and you hook this corner, you come around this corner, you're going to see, shit, there's a threshold right there that I can't cover. So what are we going to do in that situation? If this point man moves to here and pies this corner here and just holds security, his number 2 can step out from behind him, step off his left shoulder, and basically pie that corner and drop him. That making sense to everybody? Now, what's a little bit different here that guys may not realize you can do or even realize that you should do. What's the problem if both of these teams are hooking the corners and moving to their respective sectors at the same time?
Nobody's covering the southeast.
Moving away from each other.
Nobody's covering down there, so a threat can come out there. So how do we alleviate that?
One
Isolate
team.
which side you're clearing and have one team pull security.
Exactly. Have one team hold and pull security. Now, in this situation, if we got 2 guys over there, 2 guys right here, who's in a better position to hold security on that hallway?
The team on the right.
Team over there, right? They can cover down that hallway fairly decently, and they've got the less complex area to clear. If the guy over here pied it, he can see, hey, it's just from here looking like a basic square room. So he can tell the guys over there, hold security, we're going to punch right. That makes sense to everybody? So it's little shit like this, like, I don't expect you guys to know this right off Jump Street and be able to do this. That's what training's for. That's where you learn how to make these quick, split second calls to be, hey, hold security, we're going to go right. Shit like that. All right, so let's step back out here and try this again. We're going to run the other team this time.
Question, Hop.
Yeah, go ahead.
So assuming that this team is holding so that they can cover that way and further down there,
Mhm.
if this team takes this room now, they're still going to be exposed to that guy in that hard corner, even if this team is holding. So
This team isn't holding, that team's holding.
The team that's going into this room?
Yeah, that team is holding over on that side.
Why?
Because they have the easier clear. They have the better position to be able to hold security because of that.
I thought that the team on this corner was holding that direction since they
No,
have a
no,
better
no,
angle on
no.
it.
No, they've got the more complex clear over here. These guys are in a better position to hold security.
Okay.
Does that make sense, though? Because basically the way it works is this guy can sit right here and hold this corner, and the number 2 can basically step out right behind him. I can't fucking lean because I don't have a weapon, but he can lean out over top of him right here and cover down that hallway. Now, obviously, he's not going to be able to cover the fucking angle there, but you're never going to be able to cover every fucking angle. Does that make sense to you, though?
Yep, copy that.
All right, let's go ahead and get back out here.
Alright, Bravo, you're up.
Alright, Bravo, let's go.
All right, second team, let me know when you're ready.
Let me know when you guys are set.
I'm ready to pie.
On you.
Guys start pieing.
You guys are ready, go ahead.
Yeah, if you're ready, go ahead.
I'm gonna pie it off. Got a civvy front with a pretty long LDA. I got a hallway on the left and a hard right. I'm blind on the right.
Roger.
Recommend we dump a flash in. I'm gonna hook right.
Copy.
Arch, could you handle that?
Tabor, stuff yourself up against that wall so Arch doesn't have to step out as far.
Hey,
there you go.
You set, Tabor?
Yep, 1 set.
2 set.
3 set.
Good, Emmanuel?
Last man, you set?
Last man set.
Alright, breach. Throwing flash.
Go, go, go. One down on the right.
I got your right covered.
Holding the left. I'm pieing left.
Yep.
Alright, I'm behind you.
Watching straight.
Contact
Holding
down
left, holding left.
on the right. Alright,
I got the hallway.
Arch, it's a sharp angle on the left here. I got to hold here at the corner, okay?
Alright, let me know when I'm nearing the end of my corner.
You got 2 more feet. Stop right there. Got him?
Negative.
Alright, I'm going to get a flash over there. Can you pull back?
Yep, pulling.
I'm going to flash, and then you swing out and fucking cap him, okay? And I'll cover the close angle.
Yep, copy.
Flash out.
You gotta get him. You're in my line of fire, Tabor.
Copy, I'll pop out. I got one in the room on the right.
Copy that.
He's down. I
Copy
need
that.
one on me for this room here on the right.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm behind you.
I had a hostile in there, so I'm flashing in.
Alright, Vasquez, you got that long southeast?
Yeah, I got it.
Alright, I'm gonna hold this.
1 civvy in here.
Alright, this room's clear. 2 coming out.
Alright, you guys hold that long southeast corridor, and then we're gonna take this room.
Copy, I'm going to push up to it, okay? I'm going to
Alright,
pie
Vasquez,
across
you ready?
on your left, okay, Arch?
Ready.
Yep. Alright,
I'm going to
Stay
wide
on the
angle,
wall,
wide
stay on
angle.
the wall.
go left once it goes off. Going left.
Going right.
I don't think you heard my call for the wide sweep.
Room clear.
Team
This
2
room's
guys
clear,
go.
we're pushing out.
Alright, looks like you got a little T-junction here on the fucking, it goes left and right. I'm going to push up on this wall slowly and pie off on the right.
I got the right. I can grab, well, no. Yeah, we're just gonna have to breach this.
Dude, that guy's a T-1000.
Yeah, that guy didn't want to fucking die.
You guys good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright. Alright, this room opens up to the left. I'm gonna need
Oh, stay on the outside wall.
thrown against this wall to my right. Vasquez, don't pie this anymore. I just need the flash against the wall. Alright, going left. Room clear. Alright, compound secure. Pushing out.
Building's
Hey,
clear.
bring it up.
Molding
Building's
security.
clear.
measures.
We're coming out.
Copy that.
Yeah, if you want us to restrain civilians or no?
Negative, just coming out.
Give me a support, Bravo.
Copy.
Agreed.
Tabor black on non-lethal hand.
Alright, go ahead and rally it up here in front of me.
Rally on first, Sergeant.
Alright, so why do you guys, aside from the fact that obviously you guys had the knowledge of being kind of run through the first part, but why do you guys think that run went so much smoother?
We took our time and we communicated every movement down to where people were on their blind side and what they needed to do for us to effectively cover them.
Exactly. Alright. I know you guys are always compelled to move as quickly as possible. I know. And we tell you guys all the time, hey, slow it down, you set your own pace, so on and so forth. I can yell at you guys all fucking day long, but you can only move as fast as you're comfortable. This is a textbook example of it, all right? You slow down, you hold your security, make sure that guys are watching those corners and so on, and just slow down and talk out what you're going to do. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter if you sit there for a couple of seconds and, you know, kind of plan out what you're going to do, as long as somebody's holding that security on the corner or on that threshold so the guy can't breach it. The only problem is if you sit there for too long, then you got to start worrying about fucking frags and stuff like that coming out at you guys. So you can't sit out there all damn day, but just slow it down for a second or two and talk about, hey, I got your right covered, you're good to move left, so on and so forth. Hey, I'm on the outside wall, I got the better angle, let me pie it, so on. Right? There's lots of situations like that where if you just stop and take a fucking breath and give yourself time to think, you don't go running headlong into a situation which you're going to get fucked up. Right? So that's the main thing I want you guys to take away from this, is just slow down. Take your time to make a decision. Don't just go running into the room because you feel like you got to be quick. All right? Everybody clear on that?
Hey, firm?
Yep.
All right. We're going to do this one more time. We're going to set it up basically the exact same way. So everybody go ahead and get back behind the Connex and cover and so on. Stand by for a hot second.
Yeah, Tabor,
out of flashbangs.
Yeah, I was about to say, anybody got one they can spare?
Yeah, I'll give it. I'll give you
I'm out of
mine, man.
flash.
Alright, yeah, just give me one.
Stand by. I'll give you guys a box here in just a second.
Just stand by, we're getting a box.
Lithium ion batteries in there? Might work.
Yeah, you can shoot them and create a diversion.
And good job not shooting any fucking civilians.
Yes, sir. Not right now. Did you not want me to stream, or did you not want me to, or?
Morgan.
Oh, gotcha.
Mom's streaming for my girlfriend right now. If you want to see my.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's. I don't know if it records automatically. I don't know how it works, but I'm streaming it.
All right, so what we're gonna do now, and I'm not gonna cross this threshold because guys are fucking. Actually, yeah, I might be all right. Yeah, we're good. All right, so what we're gonna do now, I need one volunteer from Alpha, one volunteer from Bravo. All right, so we got Loster and Vasquez. Go ahead and get yourselves up against the wall, and then squad leader and Mike get up there as well. All right, go ahead and set up. When you guys are ready, let me know, and I'll tell you when to go.
You want me on point, Morgan? Do you want me on point? Okay. Oh, no.
Got it.
You had best unfuck yourself, or I will unscrew your head and get down your neck.
Real quickly here, let me see. Pesco, thank you for the 2-month resub, greatly appreciated. CBR, thank you for the host, and McCoy, thank you for the 3-month resub. Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead.
Okay, I'm ready.
Copy that.
Yeah, Loster got a new mic. It's a HyperX
2 openings, one on the left, one on the right. I see
mic.
City straight ahead.
Not a desktop or a headset mic though. It's a desktop mic. I didn't even know HyperX made them.
Copy that. Where you going?
When I punch in, I'm gonna go right, but you might want to flash it for me.
Okay. Prepping flash.
I'm ready whenever you are.
I'll move this guy real quick.
Yeah, one
just
sec.
because that's where they're expecting him to be.
Tossing flash.
Now the flash got him anyways.
Going.
No, fuck. Alright, we're clear on the
Got
right side.
Going right.
Go.
Corner's clear.
Watching straight ahead.
Lighten up.
I got the fucking corner southeast.
I'm up.
No, I didn't have to heal.
Take left.
Contact left.
There's one on the right. There's one on the far right here. Hold on.
I'll do a flash.
Okay, I'm flashing far right. I got it.
Okay.
Flash.
Your left is clear. Going right.
God. Pull him back. I got it. Morgan,
Not flashed anymore.
Backing up.
Alright, I got your right covered. Am I good on the left?
Go ahead and switch up. I'm hit, so switch up.
That happened with the last one too. I forgot to fucking point it out.
Watching down the hallway, front.
I have to get my notepad out.
No, I got it. We're good. Stay. Yep. Okay, keep moving, guys.
How's
Keep
my
pushing
left,
it.
Hernandez? Okay, well, I'm covering. I got this wide open space here. I'd rather you guys go that way since you're good on the left here.
Going behind. Right. Still up. Prepping. Tossing munition. Hey.
Fuck. I don't want to.
He's front. He's direct front.
He's down. He's down.
Roll
Get
back.
out of the open. Get out of the opening. Yep.
We gotta secure that corner and pull him back. Vasquez, push up. A little bit. There you go.
I can't watch your back. I can't watch your back. Morgan,
The civilian got killed by the OPFOR.
Secure that room.
And Diver with the gifted sub to Hammer. Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
Hold on. Tossing a flash.
Save your battle, buddy, Vasquez.
All right, this room's clear. Get back on those sectors. Get back on those sectors.
Okay, I need CLS on me. Go
No, you
ahead,
don't.
pick him up.
He's the medic. You don't need CLS. Just
Well,
you can
I
kill him
can't-
with.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on this door right here.
Body. Right leg.
Fuck.
Nobody holding that corner.
Hold on, Hernandez, hold on. Getting you up right now.
All right, go ahead and pull it out.
All right, pull out.
All right. So what fucked you guys in that situation?
Contact from the right was obscured. When he popped that flashbang, we thought it neutralized that target, and it didn't.
Oh, it did. It got both of them.
It did, but I know I fucked up in the beginning. I was trying to adjust my combat pace, and I ended up climbing over the fucking.
Yeah,
God damn it.
that happens. All right.
But I shot Morgan in the back of the head because I didn't know he was gonna peek that corner because I had that angle.
Yep. All right, let's all run in here and kind of talk about this so we can see where it kind of broke down. Let me stand by real quick. Let me make sure the fucking hold fire is working. Okay, yep, we're good. All right,
No problem.
so everybody go ahead and stand right around in here, kind of where I am, and then look out that way. All right, so we make entry. Loster decides to play jungle gym, which obviously isn't going to happen traditionally. You know, you go into a room or a building, it's not going to be like this. You're not going to be able to climb up on something. But what was the mistake made by number 2? Guy here. Who was number 2? Who was the second guy in?
That was Morgan.
Okay. Morgan, what did you fuck up?
I saw that contact down the wall, so I kind of hugged it.
Nope.
There's this guy that I took out right here.
Not what I'm talking about.
Then I don't know. I went
Loster,
in, looked right.
Loster came in, went to move this way. Who was it right here? Was it you?
I was on this side.
Okay,
I
who was here?
Second man because he went up high.
Yeah.
I decided to go to this corner since he was climbing.
Okay, so is Vasquez here?
Okay.
Yeah, on that side of the wall, yes.
All right.
Sorry, Jim.
So, any idea what you screwed up when you came in?
I just looked straight, Sergeant.
Nope.
Southeast.
You came in, Morgan went right and started engaging that guy. You stopped, like right here. You were still in the threshold and just stopped. we never stop. Not when we're in the threshold. You have to push through contact. So even if that guy's there, you need to be moving down the wall while you're engaging, because you're stopping other guys from being able to get in. All right, if that had been a normal doorway, nobody would have been able to get in behind you, because you would have blocked them from being able to get in. That make sense?
Yes, Sergeant.
All right. So, next part. Over here. Loster's on this corner, throws the flashbang out, goes to pie it, and ends up fucking doming, who was it, Morgan in the back of the head?
Yep.
Now, first part, you did the right thing. You recognized, hey, I need to shift over to the other wall. We need somebody else over there, so on. You picked up that sector that wasn't being picked up. You recognized that. You took action on it. That's absolutely perfect. What went wrong in this situation where that flash went off and Loster ended up fucking shooting Morgan in the back of the head? Anybody?
I mean, there was a lack of communication on my part, calling out that I had that covered.
Somewhat.
I mean, because when I'm here, I'm at this corner. Obviously, I'm not gonna watch that when I know that this shit is wide open. So I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. He knows you're over here because you threw the flash. He didn't throw it. He knows somebody's over on this side. So the not so much common sense, but traditional training would tell you if he's on that far wall, he's got the better angle off into that corner. He threw the flash. He's in a better position to be able to pie this threshold, especially on that part of the container. I'm not going to round that corner because I'm going to be crossing in front of his barrel if I do, because I know he's looking this direction because he threw the flash. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hold short right there and cover his cross right here. Is that making sense?
Yep.
All right. So next part. Somebody went around the corner right here, and what'd they do? They just ran straight into this opening.
Yeah.
You didn't pie the threshold, and you got dropped. Next person comes. They start to pie it, drop that guy, and then what do? They just go in and turn left to hit that near corner. What's probably a better option in that situation?
Hold the angle and wait for the other buddy to push up to you.
Yeah, hold the fucking security, get him pulled away, get somebody else up there with you, get a flash thrown into the room, and then go in with another person. There's nothing wrong with holding security and just waiting for a second. Obviously, if you have a fucking frag that comes flying out the door, then you need to fucking move, but don't be afraid to hold for just a second so that somebody else can get there with you. All right, that making sense to everybody?
Wait for him.
All right. You guys ready to kind of step this up to a little bit more kind of realistic situation?
Absolutely.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to head back over to kind of the load-in area. You guys are going to go ahead and rearm, resupply and shit. And then we're going to head out to drill number 1 via the TP flag. And we'll be using the entire squad. So one team will move on one side of the street, one team will move on the other side of the street, and so on. And I'll kind of explain it in a little bit more detail once we get out there. So let's head back over there, get rearmed, resupply, get all your kit back. Actually, fuck it. Hold on. I'll just TP us all over there.
Hernandez, come back.
TT, more like TP.
Exactly.
Make it first.
All right, go ahead and get yourselves resupplied and shit. And then once we're ready, we'll head over to the first drill. Alrighty. And Music, thank you for the 9-month resub. Appreciate it, bud. Hopefully you're having a good Thursday night.
I will PT you all until you fucking die!
Murph, boss, you guys good?
Yeah.
Murph's ready.
Alpha and Bravo, please just sound off when you're ready.
Alpha's ready.
Alpha's good to go, top.
That Alpha's good to go?
Alpha's good to go, yep.
Bravo, you guys good?
Bravo's good.
All right, let's go ahead and take the flag. Just teleport to drill 1.
Margie's here.
Alpha and Bravo, sound off when you got everybody here.
Saber.
Margie's here.
Alpha's all here.
Bravo's all here.
All right, squad lead Mike, you here?
Here.
All right, looks like we got everybody. So if you guys look at your micro daggers and shit real quick, you'll see we got this blue line running up the road. That's what we're going to be clearing. You guys are going to be moving right up the road and clearing the buildings as you go. You are going to clear every single building. There's not a fuck ton of buildings here, but you guys are going to clear every single building. But you're only going to be clearing the buildings that are right on the road. You're not going to be heading to the buildings, you know, that are back on the backside of the backyards and shit like that. Just the buildings that are basically directly connected to the road. So you don't have to worry about traveling off too far. You know, make sure you check the backyards and shit, but you don't have to go beyond the backyards. Move as you guys see fit. I'm not going to be giving you a bunch of input or anything like that. Acting squad lead, if you know you want to tell them how to move and shit like that, that's perfectly fine. But this is going to be, you know, kind of the traditional way you guys would move through, clear, so on and so forth. And obviously everything's going to be live fire here. We don't have any civilians in the area or anything like that. This is just about watching you guys move through the buildings and amongst the buildings and shit like that. But like I said, don't worry about the shit on the outskirts, just the stuff along the road. Okay?
Copy that.
Copy.
All right. On your own time, whenever you guys are ready, you're good to go.
Okay.
Go ahead, lock and load. Alpha Bravo, let's go.
Lock and load your flag check.
Bravo, what side of the road are you on?
Bravo,
Alpha,
you
you
guys
guys-
want to take the west side of the
Yeah,
road?
Margie's ready to move.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take the left side.
Roger that.
Bravo, we're on the left side of the road.
Bravo,
Taper,
gonna take
take
the left
south.
side of the road. We're going to take the right side of the road.
Hey, Perrin, what do you want on point?
Let's go Wasser on
Jogging at a high ready
and then
pace.
Murph, you guys are going to be team
Alright.
2. Then Margiata and I are going to be team 1.
Are we moving from like a staggered? Is that
We might want to
the-
wait up for Alpha.
Keep that
Yeah,
fucking
go.
distance.
You guys are good. We can stagger it. We're good.
Yeah, keep pushing forward. Don't get caught in the open.
Take it.
Shots front, shots front. Alpha, we're bound
I'm
up
hauling
to that
ass
wall.
to the wall.
Bravo, keep moving. Alpha's gonna cover us.
Right side, fucking 200 meters.
I'm sat here and popping out.
Same individual. Fucking building
Shooter on
close
the right.
to us, shooting out the window.
Just took
Yeah, I
contact
see a
front,
barrel on the right
Bravo.
window.
Roger that, Bravo set. Alpha, you guys go ahead and move up.
He's down.
Let's push
Roger
up
that.
the
I got
wall.
it.
Arch,
Right,
switch
yeah.
with me, switch with me. Switch with Tabor, as a matter of fact.
Copy that.
Watching the
Alright,
cross
so I
road.
think you guys popping on the right hand side of the road. They're down.
The building closest to Bravo in the window.
Alpha closest to you guys in the window.
Drop one,
Over
drop
top
one.
of you.
One story. You guys all good?
Yeah, I'm hurt.
Alpha, we're gonna move up and get
Alright, I'm
this
looking
first
up the
building. Go
right-hand
ahead and
side.
keep covering us down the road.
Roger that, Bravo. Alright, let's
Manuel,
push up
pushing
to
down
this
to the
wall
entryway
here
on
in
the
front of us.
backside.
We're going to look
Alright,
down the
roger
road. Bravo's going
Take your
to
battle buddy
push
with
into
you.
that first building on
Guys,
that
can you
side.
on me?
In the garage across the
Contact
way.
Alpha,
inside
we're
the
gonna go
building.
down
I got
here
a
to this
barrel in the
building on
building,
our side
high,
to the
right.
high
rear
right.
of this
You can
building on our
40
left.
from that fucking doorway.
Bravo, this building in front to our left here is got ArmA occupants inside.
We're putting a 40 in the two-story building. I got a barrel.
3-1 actual, Bravo.
Good fucking shot, baby. Let's move in.
Margiata, you got the
Arch,
the
let's move.
grenades, right?
Same.
Line up
Or
the
your
first
Check
door.
out.
Grenadier?
Got a dead
Sorry,
guy
Margiata,
in there on
you
the
got
left.
Grenadier, right?
Yeah, firm.
We're coming in with you.
Alright, in this garage,
Copy.
there is a hostile.
I'm holding kind of an offset angle here.
What
so someone
garage?
shut.
Just across from us.
It's a short hallway, so
forget
I'm
it,
just gonna push
Bravo's getting
across.
too
Okay.
close now.
No
Yeah,
him. Throwables.
Hey, Meyer, Team 2 clears this house. They can come out the front door and use that wall in front of us for cover to cover across the street.
Alpha, hold set there while
Alright,
Bravo
team two, go
finishes
ahead
clearing
and
this
clear.
building.
Copy.
Alright,
Not
Lost,
doing
you're
too
ready.
horrible
Team one now.
outside of the multiple times stopping in the open to engage.
Roger that, Alpha. We're going to move up and get this building cleared.
Yeah,
Fucking team 1, we got a fucking individual with a light machine gun backyard.
Building clear. Building's clear. 2 coming out.
That, are you able to engage?
No, other way.
Negative.
Back way.
He's got the
I'm just taking the front.
Alpha, you engaging over there?
Pulling back.
How the fuck did Murph just get dropped?
A-firm. Yep.
Oh, it must have been him.
Here, trying to engage with the game gunner.
Alpha, we cleared that first building. You guys can go up on your right.
Foster, don't stand up. There's a guy in that.
Team 1, my battle buddies.
Alpha, be careful. Bravo's moving in on that building floor.
Alpha copy.
Bravo's keep
Alpha's
moving up
got
the
1 man down at this time.
We look clear all the way down.
Oh,
Took down a contact right side in front of Alpha.
Alright, copy. I'm walking under your barrel.
Alright, Loster's down.
Hold
as well.
security
I'm gonna
and
throw
have these guys move up
flash
over
out
here.
Alpha, how you guys doing up?
Security so I can cross with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something.
Alpha
Yeah,
has 1 man down at this time.
Alright, I'm set here.
What are you doing?
1 man right there.
No, you just walked into the same fucking area that your buddy got dropped in.
I dropped him. I
Got
dropped
lucky as fuck.
Arch, stay with Vasquez. I'm going with Tabor.
Alright, Loster.
Yep, I'm at the end of the house. I dropped one
One
across the
contact
street.
inside down.
Roger that.
Lost, I'm pushing past your right.
Like, we have one guy pushing here.
Keep
Hold the
talking,
stairs
Alpha
while we clear
Bravo.
the
Where's
sticker.
Murph?
Nurse back up.
Roger that, Murph.
Bravo just made entry into the second building.
I don't see anything in the windows.
You really not see
Alright,
any of them?
I can hold
Loster, Murph, you gotta
downstairs
clear that out.
security.
Seems like you would have seen them.
Alright, we're going upstairs.
Oh no, I
Bravo,
guess
this is
not.
3-1.
Arch, I'm still inside. I'm covering the back.
This is Bravo. Send it.
Copy that. Do you have eyes on
Houses
Alpha's
there,
movement
going
across the
northeast.
street? Over.
Make sure you guys
Negative. I'm
mark it.
still inside, clearing the building.
Alpha just cleared the first building on our side.
Murph, let's grab this blue door.
Pushing up to the second one.
Make sure you guys are marking buildings as you clear them.
Arch is by himself.
This building's clear. 3-1, this
Copy.
is
I'm
Bravo.
going out the.
Yeah, send it.
Actually, disregard. I'll wait till you're done.
This building's clear.
Copy that.
Alright. 3 coming out. 3 coming out. Arch, don't shoot. Alpha, we're moving up. And we're gonna get the building next to us.
Team 2
That was ugly.
Team 2's
Drop one.
up.
Drop one.
Got a long fucking alley back here behind the house.
This house is clear.
We got a guy down on this. Alright, I'm
Alright,
getting a frag
Margie,
over
let's
this
clear up
fence.
this
Okay.
little chapel
Roger.
here as well. I'm gonna push across. You hold that.
That was a good frag.
We got a buy.
Oh, that frag should have fucked him up.
Alright, Margie, it's
Disregard,
really
disregard,
small. I'm just
disregard.
gonna pie the doorway here.
Yeah, copy, you got it.
Alright, it's clear.
Alpha, you
Alright,
guys
we
get over
have
there?
to push along the backyard. We can't get into the next backyard for
Alpha's
another
good.
25 meters.
Alright, Vasquez, I'm
Roger that.
Alpha,
Let's
dude, Roger,
push up the wall here.
Alpha, you guys got a
One
contact
upstairs,
in that
one upstairs.
second
Alright,
floor of the building
you
that
lead.
you're
I'm
on.
pushing this. I don't like this LDA.
Roger that. Go ahead and go ahead.
Going left. Vasquez, you hook right?
Alpha, keep talking to Bravo.
Vasquez, get in here.
Drop one.
Bravo, Alpha's
You got
pushing
anything
up
on that
to our
doorway,
third
dude?
building.
I got nothing
Yeah.
on that
You have to
far
go
Be sure
out.
to
side.
report
hold on,
contacts
hold on,
if you
Brad.
find them in buildings,
got it.
okay?
Alright, there's a contact on
Team
that
checked
corner.
in. You take contact.
I'm
We're
gonna clear
good,
the.
we're
I'm gonna
dropping-
clear
we're
the short
dropping
room here.
people for Bravo.
We're down
Building.
to 2 guys on the other side of the road.
Which
One
CBU is
in the
best CBU for
garage,
this?
one in the house.
All of them?
My
Upstairs.
team 2 just engaged 2 guys on your side of the road.
Two coming out.
Alright, come to our side. Oh, actually, no. Get the back of that
Got
house.
friendlies
That's
in the
got a
backyard.
contact over there.
Roger.
Roger
Just
that.
one dead guy, he's gone.
Sounds like the house north of us has fucking contact.
Bravo, be
I'm gonna hold
advised, the house
security on the
north
gate
of us
we came in.
has hostiles.
Roger.
Myers, we're pushing.
Just cut
Alpha, this is Bravo,
contact
say
in the
again your
house
last.
next line for ours. I just downed one guy in it.
The house to our north has enemy.
Alpha, interrogative, is
Team
this
2, make
two-story
sure you
building
guys
clear?
I tagged it upstairs. It's clear. Somebody might need to tag downstairs.
Roger that. 3-1, that 2-story is clear.
Copy that. I marked it on outside. Good to move up to me, Tabor.
Roger.
Stop looking the wrong way,
Coming
dumbass.
down to you to keep pushing.
I'm watching down this fucking alley.
I'm sitting behind this fucking
I'm
pillar
watching down the road.
that window.
Team 2, go ahead, clear out this building.
Hey, firm.
Pushing
Murph,
deep.
okay.
Contact down.
Bravo,
east.
Alpha's pushing into our next building. Tan 1 story.
Foster's down, got one guy here.
Alpha has
Friendly
one man
soldier.
down inside
Copies
the
it,
tan 1
cleared.
story. Hernandez, go ahead. Hernandez,
There
push
you
in
go.
with Murph. I got this.
See, pushing
this LDA.
on that part of the
coming
corner
out.
keeps him covered from the door when he opens it.
Margie, how you doing over there?
Good, I'm taking a peek down this alley.
Roger
Guys
that.
good in there?
Hey, Firm, one down.
You ended up getting hit on the breach,
Alpha,
but
refinish
the
clear.
initial
We're
setup
gonna
was
hop over this wall and
decent.
continue
Fuck
moving.
with
He's
Snapped
outside
on
of the
me, bro.
building now, on the left side on the road.
Bravo, let's
I'm
hop
gonna
over this
toss
wall. keep
yellow
moving up.
smoke down there.
Roger.
Alright, Bravo, I'm gonna toss yellow smoke in the road and get our man back.
The fuck? Oh, Loster's down in the street, partially inside the building, apparently.
Yellow smoke out.
Roger that, Alpha.
Gonna wait for it to plume, I'll pull
Alpha,
him
just
back.
toss yellow smoke. They got a man down across the street. Alpha, we're moving up to the houses on the left.
I'm pushing up with Arch.
Alpha copy.
Ask guys with me.
I got an opening right
Let's
over
push
where I am.
past.
That's as far
Alright,
as
we're gonna
security.
consolidate on you.
Disregard, we're holding here.
Murph, go over with Margie.
Bravo, don't get too extended
Arch,
from
I'm going with you.
Alpha's position here.
Hey, I'm gonna hold the
Roger that,
backside
3-1.
here while you guys go up to that doorway.
We took out one contact in the doorway. Alpha, this is Bravo. We took out one contact in this building, in this compound. We're taking contact from across the street to the east, 095 as well, from a single-story building.
Roger that.
Alpha,
We'll push up
We
on our
shouldn't have a guy
side.
in the building to the northeast. which is
Team
not
2, we
going
need to push up. We need to push up to the north. Bravo is taking contact from our side of the road, east or north.
I
Copy,
just nailed
go
one
ahead
in
and
your
push up.
second floor. He's
I'll
down.
move up with Lost in a
Copy,
moment.
moving.
He's gonna
Team two,
step
we're
up on
talking
those
with
steps and get
Wales.
shot by this guy.
Roger.
Alright, Murph, hold back. I'm gonna jump past you here. You guys are Team 2 again.
Hold there. You gotta get shooter across from you.
Alright,
Frag on
Roger
in.
that, Team 10. We took him out.
Bravo, this is 3-1.
I'm getting a
Alpha's
frag in that
pushing up
window.
to the next set of buildings over.
Shooter to the southeast.
That's just let's hit the
Yard is clear.
It's firing at him up in the window there.
I got Nick.
Shooter down.
frag.
Shooter down. Shooter down.
Alright, let's push
Tape
back
Burvest
out.
says you guys good.
Hey, Firm, we hit that shooter that was engaging you from across the road.
Alright, I'm gonna bandage up here real quick. Alpha, how you guys holding up over there?
The pusher that's
Alpha's
trash.
good. We're pushing up to the northeast.
Hey, Conundrum, how's it going, bud?
Roger that. We just finished clearing this last compound. We're getting the building in front of it.
This is one
Alright,
single
two
room.
coming
Looks
out.
clear. Let me
Alpha
check the
copy.
window.
Mike, if you're not too busy, I can use your my pods. I can use some pain
I'm
man.
holding the
you on
fucking
me?
left
There you
corner.
are.
Really? Jesus, man.
Team 2, we're gonna
Bravo's
push
in
clear
that
outside.
building off to your
Nice enough.
Oh, another day living the dream.
There's no cover really for us to move up on.
Roger that.
Yeah, there's a rock wall. There's a rock wall in front of me.
Bravo, Alpha's getting ready to
Nice
push up,
flash.
pushing up on the right-hand side of the road. We don't have a lot of
Shooter,
cover.
just taking shots.
taking
down the-
shots.
Ooh, that was
Roger that.
fucking
Alright,
no
Push up,
good.
Margie.
Alpha's moving up on the right hand
Watch
side.
your left, they're taking shots from their left.
T2, how you guys holding up in there?
Oh, we're good. We took another
Don't
one down.
smoke out.
Roger that.
I dropped him.
Bravo, we're taking shots off from your side of the road.
Pushing up.
Roger that. We're moving up time now.
This next dingy-looking building to our 12 o'clock had a guy in one of the windows.
Push up to some cover, Murph.
Roger that. Alpha was taking fire from that building. Alright, let's move up, guns up.
I think we also have contact.
No, I don't think he hit him, but it was definitely close.
Or what about the off to the left?
Alpha,
That's
this
what
is
I'm worried
3-1.
about.
We're pushing up on your position.
Roger that.
Patching up real quick.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Alpha, we're
These
taking
guys
fire
are
from
way
down
too
the
fond of
street to
shooting
the north
past each other.
254. We're engaging multiple
Alpha
enemy
copy.
mobiles. Time now.
Alright,
There's a guy
push up.
putting rounds through the doorway. I
Bravo's
just
getting
lit up the
engaged from
fucking
this building.
panel.
Yeah, from.
For me, Vasquez fucked that door up too.
Bravo's getting engaged
Alright,
from
let's
this
push it
building
up.
here.
Copy, I'm with Loster.
Alright, Murph, you're on me.
Hey, Mark,
Firing right
Alpha,
across
there
your
was a
fucking
contact
buddy's
in that
nose,
building.
man.
Flash
Wrecked in that
building.
doorway. Watch watch it.
Roger. Alright,
Flash
Bravo took out one contact inside this building that we're on. Murph, I'm gonna toss a flash in. Then we'll push in. You ready?
Fucking back room's clear. Friendly's coming out.
Building clear.
Alpha, we cleared that building that both of us were taking fire from.
Copy that, Bravo. Alright, Murph, let's push up to the shack. Watch down the road.
Hold it, Bravo, hold it. Let Alpha clear those shacks first. Let's stay on this corner.
Copy that. We got a rock wall facing northwest.
Yeah,
Roger that.
You said don't worry about the backyard houses, so we don't gotta get that shit to the southwest, right?
He kind of said that not to worry about the buildings kind of further out. So I'm assuming that's those two
Eyes on
buildings
top.
as well.
Copy.
Alright, keep pushing down.
Affirmative.
Alright, Bravo, on me.
Yeah, I had the same assumption
Bravo,
about
Alpha's
those
pushing up
buildings
on the right hand side.
Alpha, we're moving up to the end of the road here.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible, but there was definitely some scary
Stagger
shit.
column. Alpha, we'll do stagger column.
Bring up the rear.
Just get down here, for fuck's sakes. You ain't gotta do a goddamn stagger column.
Roger.
Christ, you're sitting here staring at me like, ooh, hey, Top, watch this fancy formation that we can do that's fucking useless in this
There might be a
situation.
bad guy between us and you. We don't know.
Surprise! He might have been holding you hostage.
Can I get a shot, please?
But yeah.
He did call it
Right here, Arch. Thank you.
Yep, same here. I need a shot.
Just hang on, I'll take care of all you guys through Ace.
Put your safeties on, guys.
Putting in of a job. Top.
I'm okay with that.
Safety sound, guys.
All right. How did you guys think that went?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So, go ahead, Loster.
I was gonna say, good overlapping fields of fire. Bravo was shooting guys across the road. I was shooting guys across the road before they even got to those houses. So,
All right. Well, let's break down some of the stuff that I've seen that could be improved a little bit. First one being, especially on the initial approach, the amount of guys and the amount of times really throughout this entire drill that guys stopped in the open to engage was pretty abysmal. I don't understand that mindset, not one bit. Like, you see somebody, especially if they start engaging you, your ass needs to be running to cover first, and then try and find an angle on that shooter. But it sure as shit should not be to stop and start engaging. That's just making his job easier for him. He may be stationary, but now you're stationary too. It doesn't make any sense. Get to cover first, and then deal with that threat. All right, it's one of those, you can't kill the enemy if you're already dead. So get to cover first, then deal with that threat. All right. All right. Next part, there was a couple of times where somebody would get engaged, they would get dropped. Specifically, there was a situation where Loster got engaged and was dropped behind the threshold of a building, like behind around the corner of it, and he got dropped. Guy right behind him, what did he do? He moved to the exact same position that Loster just got dropped from. Makes no sense. The enemy is already engaging there. You know he already has an angle to cover that sector. Why would you move to the exact same position he just engaged? Find a new angle. Think outside the box. If you're going around the left side of a building and that corner gets lit the fuck up, drop back off the corner and move around the right side of the building. Find a new angle to engage that threat from. Don't just pop up in the same position. Guys do this a lot where if you're moving along the front of a building and there'll be somebody in a window and they'll get engaged and somebody, the guy up front will get dropped, we'll say. somebody will pop up on the exact same side of the window that dude did and get shot as well. Why would you not drop back off the threshold of that window, run around the building, maybe go in the back door, or circle all the way around the building and pop up on the left side of the window? You know, then at least there's less likelihood that he's going to engage you as quickly because he's watching that right side of the window, waiting for somebody to pop up there. Pop up on the other side where he's not expecting you. That making sense?
Confirm.
Just find a new angle to engage from. Now, the last part that basically the way we're going to change this a little bit when we go over to the next drill area. The next drill area is larger. There's more buildings, quite a few more buildings. There's going to be more guys, so on and so forth. But what I want you guys to change is only one team is allowed to clear a building at any time. One team is inside. That's it. You guys are not allowed to both be clearing at the same time. So the way that's going to work is basically you guys are going to bound through the town building by building. And Alpha's going to, be out holding security on the street or in the alley, wherever they deem it's necessary to hold security, while Bravo pushes into the building across the street from them and clears it. Then Bravo's going to come out and hold security. Alpha's going to push into a building and clear it. Then they'll come out and you guys will move up, so on and so forth. All right, so you guys are going to bound building by building, but only one team is allowed inside the building at any given time. Everybody understand that?
Affirm.
Affirm.
So that means if you got a short room or a small building that you only need 2 guys in at any given time, in that situation, you should have 6 people providing security while those guys are clearing, right?
Yes, stop.
Affirm.
All right. So go ahead. There's a arsenal back behind you guys. Go ahead and resupply and shit, and then we'll head over to the next drill area.
Go ahead, Bravo. Let me know when you're
First Sergeant, real quick question.
Watch out, it's green.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
That's normally how we should be moving through towns that we know there's contact in, correct? We should be bounding? Or...
What I would do, yeah.
Yep, okay. Reckon.
And fire a single shot.
Nice fucking HE, by the way, Vasquez.
Thank you.
Fucking
Mark, boss, are you guys good to go?
Thank you, Sarge.
Hold on.
Mark, double check your CLS.
I'm telling you, man, he's like a fucking sniper with that shit.
That was,
time I actually fitted it in
dude,
the
that was
window.
actually fucking sick.
First time you ever
I don't
fitted
know how I
in,
did
dude?
that.
Nice.
Yeah, bro. I'm a virgin.
Yeah, let's just refilling that now.
Alright, to the point. This fucking guy. He just got it out of the way. Oh yeah, I'm a virgin.
Alright, I'm good.
Yeah,
Alpha set.
That's sexy, dude. I fucking saw it.
Bravo set.
Okay.
What's those dumbass little fucking
All right,
legs
everybody's
you
good.
know?
Let's take the flag over here to drill 2.
Alright, move the drill 2.
Bravo, Alpha will go first.
Let's take the fight to drill 2. Bravo's going first.
Alright, Bravo, go ahead and get security out.
Alright, let's move out.
I got the southwest.
Covering your southeast.
Margie's on deck.
Alpha's all here.
Bravo's all here.
I think you're missing basketball.
All right. Whenever you guys are ready, you're good to go. You're going to head straight down the street just like the last one. Focus on the buildings on the street.
Rainey, you're missing basketball, I think.
Bravo, what side of the road do you guys want?
Bravo, Alpha, wait one. Where's the Vasquez?
I think he fucking doesn't know that he has to scroll on the flag.
There
you
you
go.
go.
There you go.
Alright, now we're all here.
Took me a minute.
Yeah, it took you a minute.
Alright, let's go. Alpha, take it out.
Alright, we're going to take the right-hand side of the road, Bravo.
No matter which side we end up on, we're
Roger
not
that.
going to take the right side going up because there's no cover on the left.
Actually,
I'm gonna
Alpha,
push
let's
across.
go ahead and move off the road. You guys go ahead and just go off the right-hand side of the road. We'll fall in behind.
Stole
There's
Hardman's
no cover
personnel
on the
file,
left-hand
made
side
my
of the road.
life easier.
Alpha copy.
Okay, go ahead and
Alright, Alpha,
make a
we're going to move up
fucking
Cross
personnel
it.
file for
Yeah,
me.
you guys
That'd be
can
awesome.
cross past
for
me
a little
right now.
bit. There's
Going
going to
north.
push up on the left.
Guys are going down the wrong fucking street. Jesus.
We're supposed
Down
to be on
the
this
MSR.
right here.
Yeah, I
A
thought
firm,
Bravo
we
was
just kind of
gonna
wanted
get
to
that
Vasquez,
approach
Mike, you
from
guys
the
can cross
ASR
over.
to
We're all
kind
on one
of cross
side.
over,
Period.
so we're not exposed on that left side.
Yeah, there's no cover though off
Last
to the
man.
left-hand side there.
Moving.
Want to take
We
the
just
alley?
can keep
take the-
continuing
here,
going down
right
this
here.
Yeah,
TFAR and then cut
let's take
left.
the courtyard.
Negative. Move down
Bravo,
the
we're gonna take
MSR.
this courtyard up, down the MSR.
Hardman, you're not wrong.
Roger, Alpha. We're gonna have to.
I
move
started
up to
building
the
this,
MSR.
down west.
I don't know, like
Bravo, on me.
fucking 1900.
Moving on the MSR.
I'm gonna punch up to
On
this
you, on you.
house right here.
Alright, you guys are getting pretty bunched up here, so get moving.
Alpha's pushing out. We're pushing up through the courtyard.
Fuck me.
No, vehicles and stuff like that is
Alright, talk
the
to
type
each
of
other.
stuff
Which
that you
one's
work
gonna clear the
into
building?
later trainings.
Alpha, clear that building. We'll hold out here. Bravo.
Like a personnel
Hold on, we're
file
gonna
that only
watch
says
the
"fuck
ride.
you" and a spoiler. Yeah, pretty much.
Alright,
Roger,
Bravo's
the
gonna
north
at
side is
security.
corridor.
We're gonna push into this building, and so Lost
So,
once you're
Team
ready.
2, get the north
No,
side.
not at all,
Team
Doba.
1 on me.
Mounted operations are not fun in an urban environment. This is the last place that you want a gun truck.
Alpha, we got the back stairwell of this building.
Shooter to the west.
Alpha, be advised, we also got a shooter to the
Go to
west.
the house. Go to
He's
the house.
down.
Go
He
to
was
the
on the
house.
same porch as the first guy.
My guys
we
just
got
took him
two
out.
doors on the left-hand side here. I'm gonna pie the first one.
Actually, since
Alright,
they got a
clear to
couple
the
of
right,
buildings
going
here
in,
that
going
don't
left.
have anything in it, I gotta take a quick piss break, and I'll be right back, guys.
First room is clear. Pushing over to the second one. Building clear. Bravo, the first building is clear.
Roger, Alpha.
Let's punch up to the next building.
Alpha's pushed up to the second building.
Roger that. Can you hold there? We're
Watch
gonna
out, it's
clear this
holding the
building
right
in front of us.
Roger that.
Alright, Bravo,
Alright,
I'm
Bravo's
going to clear this
clearing
building
their
in front
first
of us.
building.
Right here on the right.
We're gonna hold the
On you.
road here and the right-hand alley.
This one right here.
Just move up on the MSR. Buildings on the MSR.
Oh. Bravo on me. Bravo copies. Alpha, just get this building real quick in front of you.
Roger that. Team 2, go ahead and push inside this building.
Copy.
Roger, our Team 2 is clearing the building. Team 1's looking down the road.
Bravo, let's get this alley.
Alright, apologies,
Bravo,
guys. We
you're
are
in.
back.
We're just holding this alleyway so we're not bunched up.
Pretty much, Dove. It's too many threat sectors to be able to cover with a target that large.
Building
You want vehicles out in a fairly open area where they can make full use of their weapon systems. You know, when you're in an enclosed area like that, you know, yeah, it's great having a 50 cal, but that 50 cal has, you know, an effective range of 2,000 meters. It doesn't really make sense to have it in a town. It's too big, too slow, too big of a target.
So go across the street to the left. There's a blown out building, or there's a building in front of a blown out fence. It's right across from us. You guys can hit that.
Roger, we're pushing up in the alley first, then we'll push across the road.
Roger that.
I would have crossed right here. Yeah, there you go. Open that fence, have somebody hold security down the street, and get everybody across.
the road, or let me know when you're ready.
So, you know, if,
Going back to
who is this right behind him? Murph? Like, if I was Loster, I'd be covering down the street, and Murph over top of him, covering the face of these buildings.
Actually, Margie, come on, we're gonna push across.
Copy.
And then everybody cross behind him.
Alright.
Alright, Team 1's pushing across. Taking
Alpha,
shots
we're
from down
engaging
the road.
contacts down the road to the west, 252.
Don't. I'm standing up.
Alpha copies.
All right, moving, Murph, move.
Crossing.
All right, we're set.
Contact down the road in a window.
We had a door randomly
Bravo
open
Alpha
behind
disengage
us.
one contact to the
Not
west.
even close to
in
the
window.
emissary.
Alpha, we had a door open up behind us, down closer towards the ASR, but my guys are still watching.
It's a
just in
snake.
case.
Roger that. We're gonna clear out this first house on our side. All right,
Roger,
Team 2, go ahead and push in. Bravo's holding security right now.
Yeah, big vehicles like that,
Perfect, Margie. Yeah, you get left side of the building. I'll help right.
like strikers and it wasn't bad. Big vehicles like strikers and Bradleys and shit like that. You really
We have
don't want
one
those in
contact down
urban
inside this
environments.
first building. You
Is
guys
that
doing okay?
one down along with the friendly down?
Oh, he did get dropped?
No, that's
Oh, he's
one enemy
okay.
down and me kicking myself in the ass.
Alright, I'm gonna mark this one. Alright, Bravo, this first building is clear.
Alright, so
Roger that. We're
in
gonna
this
clear this
situation,
building that we're
Bravo
on
pushes
now.
into here, and then Alpha pushes up to here
Alright,
to hold
Tabor,
security.
That's guys, you guys take
Alright,
this.
Bravo's gonna clear their building
Copy,
over
push it.
there.
We're going in through the rear
once
on the
they've
ASR of this building.
Once they finish clearing that, Loster and Murphy are gonna push up on the right-hand side, and
We got a balcony towards
Margie and I are
12
gonna
o'clock
push up
and
on the
a
left-hand
fucking
side of this building
awning.
to the second building.
Anyone can pop out in front of us, so just
Copy.
cautious.
Roger that.
Alright, I'm pying.
Alright, go ahead and do it. I'll cover you from
Alright,
here. on this
immediately
corner.
cuts left. We're clear all the way
Go with
down.
him.
I'm gonna punch in and go left.
Margie,
no
you doing okay over
flashbangs.
there?
Yeah, I'm good.
One set.
Windows look clear from this angle.
Bravo, your first and second story windows look clear from this side.
Roger, Alpha.
There you go. See, they got pushed up there now.
I got security.
And,
I'm probably not going to have them run through this entire town because there's still a lot left, and there's only like 20 minutes left in the training. But it's still they're practicing the general concept that I wanted them to do. Now let's see if they understand to come out the front here.
How are we doing up there?
One down upstairs.
I'm holding security on the stairs.
That's clear.
Alpha, we took out one times contact in here. This building's clear. We're coming out back on the MSR.
There you go.
We're coming out.
Bravo's coming out our side.
I'll cover one
Alright,
down the
keep
street
moving
and
up
one on the
Bravo,
buildings.
second building.
Copy, I'm covering high left.
Margie and I are gonna push up on the left-hand side.
Hey, you're pushing a little too far there.
Alpha, go ahead and move up with us.
Alpha copies that.
We got contacts. We're taking fire down the street.
Right.
Get off the street, guys. Get off the street. It's pretty clear all the way down.
Bravo
off the
takes
street.
contacts from down the street. Margie, let's jump over this. I don't want to run on the outside of that.
You got a man down. I'm smoking. Get him out.
Team 2, we're
Mike, I
jumping
can
over.
use you on
We're
my
gonna
pause.
be
We got one man
backside of your
down.
building.
Hey, Firm, we're gonna check upstairs real quick.
Emmanuel, if you want to go back through the building with
No, they're
me,
fighting
push up on the back
Russian
side, keep
VDV,
keep eyes on that
which
shooter.
is Russian paratroopers.
Alright, roger that.
They're always my go-to OPFOR, just because they have everything basically that you want.
Down up there?
Negative, but his legs are busted. So I'm fucking dragging his ass
Bravo
and making it a little
clear
quicker and
hot sales
managing in the
mode?
open.
Roger. Just hurry up.
Alright, let's clear this second
Alright,
one.
let's do it.
Looked
Let's
up
go out the
Hardman's
back.
personnel jacket. I hate you. It's beautiful. Yeah. I tried to. Well, I thought about making a personnel file. I don't know, a year or two ago, and then I was just like, yeah, fuck that.
Roger that. Breaching, going in, going left.
Why is Loster all by himself up there?
Fucking big high left.
I copy.
Got one guy still holding security. These guys just passed a fuck ton of buildings that they haven't cleared yet.
Fucking got him. I'm pushing into the next door.
Are you guys in front of... Oh, I see you.
Hey, firm, we moved up to try and get eyes on that shooter from a better position.
Roger.
Alright, he's on the left side of the road, second floor balcony.
back
Can you
here
get
down,
eyes
Monster.
on from where you are?
Alpha, we
No,
got
we're
eyes on a
breaching.
shooter. He's on the second floor of a building.
Copy.
On
Don't.
a balcony. I'm not.
Yeah,
getting
McCoy. I
half
mean, as far as I understand, VDV is, I mean, pretty much like any force. You know, they can basically do anything, but they specialize in
No, we're not going any
airdrops.
further because we're gonna get too split up from Alpha, and then we don't know what's in these buildings behind us. I don't want to get
Oh,
surprised.
Roger.
Alright, well, we can go back and clear the ones we skipped and then just leave him for later.
We have to wait for Alpha to finish first. They're clearing that building across the street.
I'm
Everyone
gonna
just hold
hold-
security here.
Yeah,
Back
copy. I'm gonna
balcony's
hold
clear.
security on the back doors of the buildings we skipped.
Roger.
Elvis back up.
Two
I'm getting
coming down,
underneath this fucking
buildings
blue
clear.
tarp.
Alpha, how you guys holding up? You guys still
Yeah,
clearing
that would work,
building, or
Jake,
did
but you wouldn't
finish
be a
clearing it?
general.
Just finished clearing it.
You
I'm
would
back
end
up
up
now.
being sent to fucking
We
prison.
had one come.
Actually, this is super
Just finished
close.
clearing it. I'm back up now.
Roger. Alright, we're gonna
Well,
clear the
actually, you
buildings
wouldn't
that we had
because
to skip over
the
to,
fucking
and,
it would never end
get
up
a better
getting cleared
angle
by
on that shooter
JAG
down
to
the street.
drop
We're gonna
munitions.
go ahead and start clearing them now. Alright, let's go ahead and clear those two buildings out.
There's a lot that goes into play when it comes
Let's
to
push up here just a little bit.
doing kinetic
Keep an eye
strikes
on that
with
shack
air and
opening
shit
to
like
the
that.
left.
I'm set on one of them.
I'm out back.
It's
Mark.
not
Unless
just
you
as
wanna watch
simple
your
as, hey, drop a bomb on
You
that.
guys want to push out the front, look
Let's
down
all
the
go
road.
in. I don't want to get
Not
separated.
in
Yeah,
reality,
Bravo.
obviously. I'm not talking
We'll
about
have,
necessarily
we'll
in
have one
game.
team outside for security, so Team 2, you guys clear it. We'll stay out here.
Roger.
Murph, careful going too far
need
out
help,
that
though, we're
way.
going.
You're exposed to your back.
Yeah, pretty much. They're a pain in the dick most of the time. You know, you have to identify the target. You have to determine hostile intent. You have to get approval from a JAG officer. You have to actually have air in the AO that can drop the munitions, so on and so forth.
doors
You
of this
know,
church
the CDA comes into play, so on.
Might need the whole squad to go to this church.
I'm watching off your right.
Let's wait
side,
to check
Buster.
the doors before we pull Bravo over.
Hey, firm. They can clear these next two houses.
Bravo, check in.
That was good. We're clearing one building right now.
So
We're about
close to
move up
them.
to the second one and hit that.
I'm
I'll let you
watching
know
your
when we're
right,
done with that.
Hey, firm.
Roger
Really
that.
clear
Clear
to
everything up
original,
until the church, and then we'll check to see if the doors are locked.
Roger.
The window with the broken out window. It has fucking friendlies in it.
Yeah, pretty
Alpha,
much,
we're moving up to
McCoy.
the second building now.
Hey,
Yeah,
firm, I
because you
got
gotta, identify the target and then send it back to the TOC and tell them
Alright, Team 2, you guys
what
hold
your
outside,
case
we'll
is
take
in
this
terms of hostile intent, and then TOC has to call JAG. JAG has to give TOC clearance, then TOC calls air. Air gets out there, then once air's out there, they get in touch with FAC or whoever the FAC is, whether it be a JTAC or an FO or whatever, and then they make sure they're on target, so on and so forth. Then they get a final clearance before munitions are actually dropped. Then munitions are dropped. Then you got to get a BDA, report that BDA back to the TOC, so on and so forth. It's a lot of shit to go through to actually
We're
get
almost finished clearing the
munitions
second building.
on target.
Alright, they're next to the, they're in a building. Right next to you, Lobster.
And TOC, for those of you guys that don't know,
On
it's
the garage.
Tactical Operations Center. That's basically where all decisions go through, for the most part. Not obviously at a micro level, in terms of like squads moving in certain positions or shit like that, but especially any type of munitions, whether it be mortars or bombs or cruise missiles, fucking anything, that all goes through a Tactical Operations Center. Which is generally going to consist of, someone at like a battalion commander level and all your intel personnel, so on and so forth. UAV operators, shit like that.
Alright, bro, let's get back on the right side. Alpha's moving up to the church.
Copy, moving.
Myers' back is to that little shack.
I think it's coming from inside the shack.
Yep.
Monster, check
Oh,
out.
hold on, I'm up. There's another one in here. There's another one in here.
We're taking shots from danger close. We're trying to figure out where it's coming
Use a
from.
throwable.
Watch down that street. I'm gonna mark
I'm
these.
watching down the street.
Roger.
Alright, I'm watching off to this left-hand side.
It's clear.
Was there one in there?
There's two in there.
Contact down, first floor, left side of the street, down the road.
Alright, we took down 2 contacts that were danger close.
Roger that. We also took down a contact
I'm just
further
peeking in
down
this.
the road to the west.
It's clear, it's clear.
pushing up with you, Luster.
All right,
Alright,
we're gonna let him go
Alright,
for a
push
few
up on the
more
left
minutes here, and then
hand
we'll
side. Doors open.
wrap it up.
Door's locked with a padlock.
Yeah, door's locked.
Alright. Bravo, the church is
Another
locked.
contact
We're
down
gonna
on
push
the
up
porch,
past
left
it.
side of the road.
Hey Murph, I'm gonna jump
Alpha,
up here.
say again your last.
The church is locked.
Weapons and tactics instructor course is just now starting for the second course of the year.
Bravo.
Oh yeah,
west
Steph,
side
you
of
said
it.
you were an instructor, right?
Roger, Alpha, cover
I
us.
believe
We're
that
gonna
was
get this
you.
building in front of
That was
us.
telling me that you were a firearms instructor.
Meyer, for some reason I can't get up there with you.
Would have been a medevac, paramedic, and a fun help you.
Roger.
I mean, fucking honestly, like doing some PJ type shit wouldn't be bad. It'd be really cool if we actually had PAVHawks. I don't know if actually, yeah, I think I've seen a PAVHawk in one of the mod packs or one of the mods that I've used. I'm pretty sure I seen one with the. I think it's the GAU 18 is the 50 cal with the opposite feed that the Airhawk or that the Air Force uses.
The western side of the church.
Then pull up some.
Roger.
Oh, right on, Steven. Somebody, one of the guys that are fairly regular in terms of viewers is a firearms instructor.
Bottom floor clear.
Alright, Team 2, go ahead and push up with us.
Let me check these
Murph,
steps real quick.
hold right there in that corner.
Yeah, that's what a PAVHawk is a modified Blackhawk.
Yeah, if we're
but
pushing now, they
the
just first to hold.
the biggest difference on PAVHawks
are
is the
clear.
50 cals that they use are opposite feed. They eject out the opposite side. And I believe they're GAU 18 or GAU 19s. I can't remember.
Team 2, see if you can push up to the building there.
No, it would be 18s, right? Because the fucking
Alpha, this building's clear.
the 50 cal Gatlin
Not
on
allowed this
the
anymore.
I'm busting
Little
out
Birds are
and
GAU
cover.
19s, I believe, or other way around. One of the
Probably
two.
still gonna have a whole nother building.
Either way,
to
one of the
clear
GAUs
before you
is
push across.
like the GAU 18 or the 19 is
Roger
the
that.
50 cal that the Air Force
Just
uses,
hold
and then the other
steady
one is the 50 cal Gatling gun that they use on the
next
Little
building
Birds.
Bravo, we're gonna hold security. You guys
down
can
across
push
the road.
up on your side of the road.
Next
Another
building
three
we push
buildings.
across to.
Hey,
the
firm, we
fucking
took out a
intersection.
contact southwest 219 in the
T
garage.
intersection, on the
Right in
right.
front of you guys. Alright, Bravo, let's
Roger.
get this building.
Bravo just took out a contact on our side of the road, just in front
That
of us.
actually sounds badass,
Copy.
Steven. I would definitely go with that. Monster, what are you doing? You get engaged there. You are not moving to cover quickly. Get pushed up here to the fucking corner at least. Yeah, McCoy, I've seen that that documentary before, that series. I forget what
Alpha,
it's
this
called,
building's clear,
but it
we're
was
coming out.
badass.
Bravo's coming out. Their building is clear.
Copy. Let them finish clearing that shit so they can have security on that fucking intersection.
Combat Rescue, that was
Alpha,
it.
we're
That was a
pausing.
really, really
Check
cool
contact
series.
Across the street in that garage as well as the second contact.
Shooter down. Who's at the garage?
Shooter on the porch.
The other one that was really good that they did on Netflix was
There's
called
also another
Fighting
shooter on
Season.
the porch to the left.
Great
West.
fucking series.
Contact down on the porch.
Roger.
We just took him
I'm
out.
holding
Bravo's
this palm
reporting
tree
a
here.
shooter on the porch.
Roger. Bravo, we all good?
Tabor's
Alright, Murph, we're gonna push
Shoot down.
in. I want you over here on my side.
Roger, everyone
Begin
hold
with.
here,
We're
let
just gonna
Alpha
push
clear that
in
building.
right. End up by that blue
Roger.
door over there.
Are y'all gonna push in from the back and clear this building?
Affirm.
Alright.
Yeah, exactly, McCoy. When they bring in those I think it was 500-pound GPUs or whatever that they brought in the in that like grove of trees. It was a really, really good example of what those guys have to go through. Obviously, the time was cut down,
We're gonna
but
push
all
up,
the steps
clear
basically
the
that they
building
go
as
through
well.
was portrayed really well in that.
Copy.
We got a hallway. Nothing on the right hand side of the hallway. One door on the left hand side. I'm gonna push in, go right, and then get
All right, we're gonna go ahead
Get an
and
angle on that
wrap
door.
it up here.
going in, going right.
All
How we
teams
doing
hold
up, Alpha?
position.
Bravo's good.
Alpha's clearing out of building. Time now.
All teams hold position.
Hold position, hold position.
Hold position.
I think I have eyes on the guy through the window. I'm gonna put shots on it.
Hold.
All right,
It's a dead
go ahead
guy.
and end
Sure.
exit condition for your weapons.
Index condition 4.
Index condition for your weapons.
Okay.
We only got halfway through the town.
I have not shot a single shot tonight.
Yeah, the two guys on the bike that had the RPG. Yeah.
Northeast.
All right, go and rally over here on me.
Murdered everyone. Just send those two into the town and clear it.
Have we got everybody over here?
Hey, from top. Alpha's all here, top.
All right. So before we get into any critiques or anything like that, firstly, I want to ask you guys, which town basically felt more comfortable, or which technique felt more comfortable for you guys? The way you did it in the first little village there, both elements clearing at the same time, or the way you just did it where one element's holding security and one element's clearing?
Honestly, this one top.
This is a safer method.
So why did it feel more comfortable for you?
Because there's almost like a standardized pace that we're moving at, because one team is dead set on clearing, and it also gives the other team a safety net for anything, you know, that could be approaching their vector.
Kind of forces us to slow down.
Yeah, it definitely forced you to slow down. Me personally, and you know, this is somewhat the way it's done in reality. You know, I've talked about before. We don't have the number of guys to do it like you would in reality, where you have, you know, one squad on one side of the street and one squad on the other. But this is kind of the same way you do it, right? You have one element securing, one element clearing, and you have that safety net, like you said. You know, you feel a little safer knowing, hey, there's guys outside that got my back right now. So when any of these elements, any of these troops inside the town start trying to maneuver on us, they're going to run into those guys more likely than not. And even if they don't run into them, if they just run across the street, that security element's going to be able to call us and say, hey, you got somebody that just ran across to your side, you know, check your back windows, check your backyard, stuff like that. You have that little bit of extra safety knowing that someone's looking out for you. That makes sense?
Hey, Fur.
All right, so the only thing I'm going to point out in terms of technique that can be improved a little bit, and I wouldn't naturally expect you guys to do this, but that security element, the way basically you want to run as that security element, one, you don't ever want to pass buildings that you haven't been into yet, but you always want to keep in mind your thresholds. Okay, so what I mean is, say for example, this yellow building, this two-story back here, hadn't been cleared yet. If we're on the left-hand side of the street, that building hadn't been cleared, and Alpha or whatever team's over on the right are ready to push up to that next building, but they're back here right now, so they need to get pushed up to there. So in that situation, say we're back there at the church, kind of online with them. The next guys to move up, we'll say, are going to be the guys on the right-hand side of the street in terms of clearing. So we need to get pushed up and get security set for them. At one point, I seen Loster that was set down behind that fucking tree there. Well, laid down kind of off to the right of that. Reason that position doesn't work, if he gets engaged, he can't get to cover quickly. He was right up alongside that brick, so he couldn't just roll right to get into cover. He would have had to back up and then roll right. Eventually, you guys got pushed up onto the corner of this building. You checked that garage real quick, and then you got pushed up to that corner. That's the right position to be in. You push up to your next known threshold, basically, being the corner of this building. Those windows haven't been cleared yet. That garage is a tiny threshold that obviously you can clear on your own real quick. But before these guys would push from here, you get pushed up here, clear that little garage real quick, get set on that corner and have security. One guy looking down the street, number two over top of them looking across at the buildings there. And then those guys can get pushed up, get into that building, clear it. Once they come out of that building, then they can hold on that near corner and watch the buildings across like that and down the street. And then these guys can push in and get into that building. So you want to push up to that next known threshold. Is that making sense to you guys?
Hey, Fern.
What?
All right, who had a question? I seen one pop up there.
Sergeant Tabor.
Send it.
Thank you, First Sergeant. So Bravo ran into a situation where we were pushing on the MSR, and we had taken contact, and the guy actually went down. So we decided to double back and set up our security along the back sides of the buildings. But we also had it in our mindset to locate the active shooter, which caused us to push past buildings we haven't cleared. And I know it was a big thing during the FTX cycle where we don't want to, like, essentially ignore the most immediate threat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in that instance where we are pushing past buildings we're cleared and we're giving orders to clear every building, but we have to locate the active shooter, like, what's the correct way to go about that?
Well, in this situation, remember, your primary goal is to stay relatively online with each other, right? So that means if, say, you guys are on this corner and you get engaged from down the street, and your other element is back here or something, you guys got pushed up to be the security element up front, right? While the next guys push up and you get engaged. There's nothing wrong with backing your security up, backing up your hold point back to, say, that corner, where you can still maintain general security down the street, but he no longer has an angle on you, and you don't have to put yourself out of position way up in front of those guys to where your flanks are now going to be exposed and their flanks are going to be exposed because you're not, relatively in line with them. You just back your security up a little bit and hold those sectors that much stronger because there's an active shooter down there, but you can't pursue them because if you do, that's going to put not only yourself at risk, but the rest of your element at risk. As to where if you just back your security up, stay online with each other, and then slowly push up to the point where you're back in that shooter's sector, then you immediately know, don't move on that corner, move on the back side while these guys are over here holding security. That make sense?
Yeah, A-firm. So basically just don't allow them to fix your position in that instance.
Yep, exactly.
Copy.
Just back it up a little bit to where you are secure and you can lock that shit down until everybody's kind of ready to move forward. And, that's working at a squad level. And then as a squad leader, you're coordinating with your other squad leaders in the platoon to basically do the same thing at a higher level. So, as opposed to fire teams moving with each other, it's just squads. Somebody else had a question.
Disregard.
All right. Anybody else got any questions or anything?
Negative.
No? All right. So we're gonna end it here because obviously we're right at that fucking time. Basically, I'm not gonna push this much longer. There was a bunch more of the town to clear, but I could see that you guys were understanding the general concept of one element holding security and one element clearing. Now, like I said, if that's what you guys are most comfortable with, then do it that way. If you're comfortable doing it the other way, then do it the other way. But at the end of the day, at least now you have a couple of more options that you can take depending upon the situation. All right?
All
right. If you guys don't have any other last minute questions, then that's it. You're all fucking good to do whatever the hell you please.
All right, villains.
Whatever.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up there for tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Huge thank you to all of you guys for the support tonight, and confirming thank you again for that gigantic donation. I love you, but I can't tell anyone. Yeah, it's a good training. Glad I was able to get these guys through it. We'll be back at it tomorrow evening. 2000 for another squad training, probably just filling in with somebody, 3-2 or 3-3, wherever I can find